Happening.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
I'm so doggone good. If it was any better, I'd have to ask for help. In fact, that's why I'm here,
Uh,
ask, asking for help.
There you
what
Help.
go.
can we help? What can we help you with, Scott?
Well, I'd like to be smarter than I am.
You're a
Hmm.
smart
Am I in
guy.
the right? Am
That
I in the
that's
right?
a. I think David could help you on that one.
Well, I'm
Looks
almost
like
sure of that too.
looks looks like he's eating, David. Of course, he's always eating. His wife. I'm surprised David isn't 9,000 pounds. His wife feeds him well.
Hey, David.
9,000 pounds.
He's
I
eating.
can't talk.
His mouth is full.
Funny.
So how's everyone's week
We
so
got
far?
snow down here. You guys got
That's what I
snow up there?
heard. It kind of missed us. We were supposed to get a big blizzard last weekend, and it went south into Kansas, and 200 miles south is 17 to 20 inches of snow from here. So that was
Mhm.
good. And we got back from the Ozarks last Thursday, and we really iced and snowed across Missouri there. So we made
Mhm.
that out of there. And it's been cold up here, but now it's nicer in the 30s here and sunny. So, but I know you guys got, how much did you get?
Well, we live kind of out in the country in the flat area, and we had about 6 inches in our little town.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
Wow.
yeah.
Is that a lot for down there in Oklahoma?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it is. We get that about once a year, and then we get smaller amounts. Up in the northwest panhandle, they get 8 to 12 inches, maybe three
Uh,
times a year. But in the central part of the state, 6 inches is a lot.
I've been across that panhandle, and that's the fastest I've ever crossed over a panhandle. It's amazing how fast you get across that panhandle of Oklahoma when you're doing about 120 because there's no one out there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You and a few cows.
yeah.
Yeah, you
You
don't
you
want
go
to hit
from
one of
Kansas,
those.
you go from Kansas to Texas pretty quick out there in
Yeah.
that part of the country.
Huh.
Well, I came back last weekend, got some kind of a cold or something, so I've been fighting that. So if I'm coughing a little bit, that's why, and I may have to submit a little more talking to Trent today, just so I don't burn out my throat. But we're gonna do something a little different today. But first, is anyone infected by what's going on in California? Anyone from California on the call? Nope. That's good. But probably if you were affected by it, you wouldn't have any power and you wouldn't have a house. So it's pretty insane what's going on out there. I used to live in San Diego and in Santa Barbara, so I'm well familiar with that area, the Pacific Coast Highway and Malibu and that area. And it's just a shame because it's really a beautiful part of the country. And, it just goes to show you, be ready at any time, have your papers or something. If you have to get out of your house, think about it a little beforehand because I know we got blizzards up here and tornadoes and we do have grass fires and, you always have to be ready, with what you want to take with you because you can only take something really small and really quick normally when you're in an
Yeah.
emergency like that. So, I've been thinking a lot about what I would take and, um, it's just I feel bad for everybody that lost everything out there because that's your whole life of stuff and memories. So anyway, feel bad.
Hard to
Yeah.
start over sometimes.
Yeah, especially, I was just listening to some of the people out there, and some of them had been in fires before, and it took them a year just to get a permit to haul that all their house away, their garbage and their everything, a permit. So they had to sit there for a year before they even got to that point. So hopefully they'll be a little quicker and maybe a little more consumer citizen friendly on these permits. We'll see what happens though. So anyway, that's enough of that. We're gonna do something a little different today, and Paul wanted part of this, and I haven't seen him on call yet, but he'll hopefully pop in. So today we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna look at That's beyond stocks, like our typical swing trading stocks that we talk about. And we're going to go more with our what we think is the best stocks for this coming year. Okay, and we'll we'll record them, and then we'll put together a little sheet, and we'll watch what our picks are throughout the year and see how we do, as a group and as individuals. So uh, when you have one, we'll put it down on the list and we'll watch it live in real time. So each of us will have an opportunity, and we talked about up to three investments that provide us with the best opportunity for gains over the next year. And again, long-term investing is an investment strategy that focuses on holding assets for an extended period of time. Now, we talk a lot about technical analysis and swing trading and here, which is shorter amount of time, but I know that we all have a portfolio or an interest in long-term investments. I know I do. I know Trent does. So it's a little bit different, but it'll be kind of fun. We'll monitor these throughout the year and and see how we do. And so my goal basically, and I'll start out and see if you like the format, and I think Trent will go after me if he wants, and then whoever wants to just to tell us. It'll be kind of interesting because I'm interested to hear what you guys are looking at. I know what I always look at, and what your reasons are for why you think these will be the best investments in the upcoming years. So my goal in long-term investing is to provide annual returns greater than that of the monetary inflation, which is about 12.5% right now. And I'd like to hit a goal on my investments of over 20% per year. So I'll start out, and I'm going to start out with my best and favorite proven long-term investment, and that's Berkshire Hathaway. And I've owned Berkshire Hathaway ever since the B's came out, and I should have bought it when the A's were out, but I was really young back then. And then I think they were in their 20s, the A's back then, 20,000s, and that was a lot of money. Anyway, Berkshire Hathaway is a multinational conglomerate holding company headquartered right here in Nebraska, just down the road, 60 miles from me. They have business units. They operate across a diverse range of industries, including insurance, railroads, utilities, and energy manufacturing. They own companies like Lubrizol, Precision Cast Parts, Clayton Homes. Consumer products, they own like See's Candies, Dairy Queen, Duracell, from Burlington Northern, Santa Fe Railroad. These are companies they own outright. Okay. Retailing, Home Services of America, it's a real estate brokerage company. They own a Nebraska Furniture Mart. They own Borsheim's Jewelry and other jewelry stores. They also own a portfolio of several stocks, including Apple, American Express, Bank of America. These are their largest holdings. Coca-Cola, Chevron. Those are their largest and probably longest lasting holdings, with Apple being the recent, even though they've been selling Apple. They own Occidental Petroleum, Moody's, Kraft Heinz, Chubb, Citigroup, Kroger, VeriSign. They just started buying VeriSign. MasterCard, Amazon, Ally Financial, T-Mobile, Charter Communications, Domino's Pizza is a one that they added this year. Liberty Media, Pool, which is a swimming pool company, they just added this year. Jeffries, Lennar, Vanguard, SP 500. They own Ulta Beauty, and they even own part of the Atlanta Braves holding company. And also on top of that, they have $320 billion in cash reserves in short-term treasury bills. And whenever Buffett starts piling up money, you got to be thinking, he's thinking, I'm waiting for a bargain event to happen so he can go buy up more bargains. And this is the highest percentage of cash to his portfolio I think he's ever had. And it just seems to keep building. So it makes me wonder if he's waiting around for the inevitable in the market in his mind, being that he has the Berkshire index that he follows, and it's way over. It shows that the market's way overvalued, and so I think he's waiting to deploy some of that cash if and when the market might make a turn here. So what I like about Berkshire Hathaway is it doesn't beat the S&P every year, but it does really well against it. And in fact, since he took control of Berkshire Hathaway in 1965, the company has significantly outperformed the S&P. It's achieved a compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, of roughly 20%, and the S&P has achieved a CAGR of around 10.2% over the same period. So when I look at Berkshire, let me pull up a chart here. Hold on, here we go. Over time, and this is a monthly chart going back 10 years. This yellow line represents the S&P right here. Get it to light up again. There. So you can see it's been up and above and below the S&P, but for the most part, in 10 years, you can see the performance of the stock. It was under the S&P here, and then about in this area, right around 2022, it started outperforming the S&P, and it's been doing that for quite a while now. Even though we're seeing on a monthly chart, again, we're talking long term, with the S&P dipping down here, we're still above the S&P. So I like Berkshire Hathaway as a long term. I own it already long term. I will swing trade this stock if I have to or I want to, and sometimes I don't sell it and I'll just keep it in my portfolio. But it's been a pretty good winner for me. Secondly, I think going total opposite end of the risk curve for me is going into the crypto area is Bitcoin. And when I think about Bitcoin, you can either buy real Bitcoin, raw Bitcoin on Coinbase or any of the exchanges like Coinbase, or you can, if you have it in your 401k, you can buy it through the ETFs, and I use IBIT. So why do I think this year is going to be good for Bitcoin? Well, first of all, we've talked about the supply and demand. It's a highly desirable but scarce digital capital commodity right now. There's only 21 million that will ever be created. We've already created over 19 million. We have very few left. The second reason is it's been newly institutionalized. Last February, the ETFs came out in 14 or 16 just in the US. And then you had around the world ETFs. So the demand for those ETFs, at least in the BlackRock, it was their best ETF ever, even over gold. And so you have a lot of demand coming in. This allows a lot of companies like Raymond James and financial advisors to actually put their clients into 1% or 2% of Bitcoin in an ETF and without having to worry about custody and everything else. And, we just saw BlackRock come out and they advise their clients put 2 to 3% into Bitcoin. And you see that in other bigger banks too, that they're recommending that. So that will increase the demand also. We see a lot of companies adapting it within their treasury strategies, and the most famous is MicroStrategy. But again, Square has it. They do 10% of their profits into Bitcoin, I believe. You got Tesla has it. Just a whole list of companies that are now buying it. Countries have been adapting it and talking about, with the new administration, they're talking about a strategic Bitcoin reserve, which a lot of other countries like China and Soviet Union or Russia, I still call it Soviet Union because I'm old. Russia, you got El Salvador, you've got Ghana. You just got a lot of Bhutan, not Ghana. You just have a lot of countries looking into it, to bolster up their treasuries. And then the other thing is, in 16 years since Bitcoin has been around, it's the 7th largest asset class by market cap. It's behind gold, Google, Meta, Apple, NVIDIA. So basically, the Mag 4 or 5 and gold, it's behind. And so it's a growing asset class. It's about 2.8 trillion right now. It's expected to go to 280 trillion by 2045. So again, I see it as growing. I see it as supply and demand. And the last thing I'd have to say about it is, for Bitcoin has been the strongest asset class for 11 out of the past 14 years. the average rate of return is 168% over the last 14 years. And over the last 4 years, the average rate of return for Bitcoin has been 60%. So that meets my requirements of trying to get at least 20%. And so I do own Bitcoin and I do own IBIT, and I'll probably be adding through this year. And I think for me, it's a good way to play not only technology, but technology that's part of the AI sphere too. So if I look at Bitcoin, pull up a chart here real quick. Okay, pull this up. There we go. And this goes back 10 years. You can see about in 2017, we started to see some rises sideways. And then during after the little bit of the pandemic, a bump back down, and S&P is basically flat compared, because this is such a huge increase, 168% annually since the start. So again, a monthly chart, you can see where it's at now. We're at 94,400. Had a big gap up after the election. We'll see what happens, but again, I think it has room to run this year, and so that's why it's on my list of stocks to watch for this year. And then finally, I'm going to go with kind of what works. And if I go over, oops, let me do another one here. Oops, hold on here. All right, here we go. And I'm going to share this one. The last, I think, that I've not really have been in is the Mag 7. Okay, and I'm going back to this chart that we've looked at before, annual performance over the last 4 years. And again, I'm trying to get, at 20% to beat monetary inflation. Here's the S&P 500, real estate, gold. Mag 7 over the last 4 years and beyond a little bit, has brought you some pretty good returns, 29%. Here's Bitcoin over the last 4 years. And so I'm going to be watching the Mag 7 either individually or using the ETF Mags. And let me pull that one up for you. And again, I don't own any of these right now. Okay. Let me pull this up. There we go. And so the ETF Mags hasn't been around, very long. It goes back to April of 23, I believe. Yeah, right here. But you can see this is the S&P, that it has separated from the S&P basically this is again a monthly chart. And again, without the Mag 7, the S&P, I'm going to go back to a daily chart here. Let me daily. Nope, there we go. And I'm going to get a little bit closer than that. Let's go 1 year. Okay. So if you look at, this is the Mags over a year, you can see it's dropped down a few times below the S&P, but since about September 24, we've seen what's happened. It's separated from the S&P and kind of diverged. Now we're seeing the Mags come down a bit. But if the Mags go down, the S&P is going to go down. Okay. So again, I don't own any of this, but I'm going to be watching. Maybe I'll add some positions on this. I don't know if it's done yet or not. Looks like a double top here. It's not something I'm going to get into anytime soon, but it has been the asset class. Is it going to continue to be the asset class? If it's not, I believe that basically you're going to see the indexes go down, and we're going to have a drop in the market. Whether it's a correction or a crash, I don't know. But right now, it's looking a little weaker. So that's what I got. I got Berkshire Hathaway, I got Bitcoin or IBIT, and maybe the mags. Those are what I would look at long term over the next year. So anyone have any questions on it before we go into the trends? Anyone? Nope. Okay. Trent, what do you got?
Cool.
Anything?
I got three, two typical and one you scratch your head a little bit.
Okay.
First off, Meta. Um, I like Meta going forward. Um, all of these that I'm going to mention, I believe, will tank in the next 90 days and create incredible buying opportunities. So Meta, I like it from the standpoint that they have an open source AI program in Luna. And open source means that you open your code up to developers. They did this to catch up, and this catch up is actually accelerating them into more of a leader into the AI element. They're applying this to advertising, and by applying their AI development on their advertising platform, they're able to drive the cost of AI or cost of advertising for the small to large businesses down and create more effective execution on ad placement. I just ran this I'm running an ad for my wife for her business, and I selected You Do It, the AI program, and we've already paid for her ad in basically 2 days. It's a 14-day ad campaign we're doing for her. And so we're already seeing results. It's already paid for itself. So that's great. The other thing I like about Meta is they are recognizing the biggest strain that they'll have on data centers is energy, the source of energy, and cooling. And they just recently struck a $10 billion deal in, I think it's Rockville Parish, Louisiana. It's right off Interstate 20. If you know anything about Interstate 20, it runs from Florence, South Carolina to the west side of Texas, where it meets up with I-10. And that corridor is one of the big pipelines for the internet. So they're building a data center, a $10 billion data center that bring 500 jobs to that parish in Louisiana. What they get is they get access to natural gas and they get access to water because Louisiana is heavy in water. So those are two big elements there. I see them capitalizing, I see their earnings and revenue increasing in their ad division, on their advertising division. I see their openness when it comes to open source on their AI. So where could that go? Most likely to enterprise development. So enterprise, corporations, and using that AI development they have and applying it to small and mid-sized businesses and helping them incorporate that into their businesses. And I see that as a big win for them. So I like Meta. Tesla is my second one, and it's all about robots. And the reason it's all about robots and it's all about Starlink. After spending a weekend with my brother-in-law who owns a oil and gas manufacturer, they manufacture pumps and valves. They sell all over the world. And when he said to me, he goes, I bought a Tesla, even though I'm in the oil industry, because of the technology and the engineering. He's a business slash engineering, he has 2 degrees and a master's. Guy's brilliant. He's super smart. And he's like, what they're doing at Tesla when it comes to all these different products is amazing. But most importantly, what I've seen, I saw an interview with him the other day. They're building their robotics program that if they can get their prices down to about $25,000 per robot, as my brother-in-law said, I will borrow money and I'll put in an order for the first 100 I can get, and then I'll bring another 100. And so I see the manufacturing world, especially with the threat of tariffs on foreign goods, we're going to see a big push to manufacture back in the US. And what's the biggest expense when it comes to a business? it's human beings, it's employees, it's benefits and all that. With robotics, you don't need it. So I see a big move in the robotics industry, and Tesla and Elon Musk have proven over and over again they can bring to market a product very fast, very quick. Starlink, which is their satellite company, um, they got 4 million subscribers right now. It's not public, but it's my connection to Tesla is my connection to Starlink. So I see that availability with Starlink becoming very mass, a broad spectrum. I see the prices then, subscription prices being taken down, getting lower as they add more subscribers. And eventually they'll probably go public at some point, or they'll just bring it into Tesla in some way. So those are the really the main reasons I like Tesla. Is it the autonomous vehicles? Absolutely. We're seeing a massive, jump in the availability of it, the accuracy of it, and just everything else. Throw in Neuralink, which I'm not really freaky about, or that's a little weird to me, but I see where they're going, and the connection to all that is Tesla. So I like Tesla. I do think you're going to be able to buy this at a lower price in the next 90 days, as well as Meta. My third one is high yield debt, HYG. In 2007, I was a financial advisor. We were managing about 200 million in assets. I got drunk with a friend of mine who was or is in the mortgage industry, and he's like, this isn't going to last. I made, $1.5 million when I should only be making 300 as a mortgage lender. He said, this is going to hit the fan. And we moved our assets out and moved heavy into bonds and cash at the time. When all this sort of transacted, after this sort of transacted and the market sort of did what it did, um, in '09, we saw an opportunity to go to, that the market was bottoming in March of '09. And so we were like, we want yield. We have older client base. We want yield, but what is the most beaten up category? And it was high yield debt. So we bought high yield debt along with exposure to the equity markets. And the biggest complaint I got in 2010, in April of 2010, was you made me so much damn money. How did you do it? I have to pay taxes now. And I sort of see this opportunity with yields on US Treasuries going through the roof today. The US 10-year Treasury is at 4.74%. It's going up. This inflation issue is going to rear its ugly head. You're going to see high yield debt go under a lot of pressure. You could probably see a lot of um, triple B or double B and below grade credit go out of business. Whatever survives, which most likely will be the second half of this year, will fall in that high yield debt area. It'll pay well, it'll be beaten up, and I see it as a slingshot as we enter the second half of the year. So all of this is, the first two, Meta and Tesla, I see a pullback coming, a better entry point with high yield debt. That's my to the moon. That's, my moonshot. I see high yield debt presenting an opportunity second half of this year and being a rocket that'll crank out some insane returns over that once it bottoms out. And we see a sort of a up move in the economics of our country. So that's the second half play. So that's my picks.
So Trent, can I ask, are you hanging in with what you do have in Tesla now, or are you going to wait till the second half?
I don't own Tesla right now. I don't own Meta. I think you can get better pricing on them. I think we're starting to see that now. We're seeing, Nvidia is like the fourth one. I see what they're doing, but I look at that and I go, that's a 119 price point to me. Um, I think, I think we're starting to see the economics come to light. That's inflation, the threat of the Fed raising rates again. That's going to spook the market a bit. We're seeing yields on, the 30-year US Treasury go up. That shows that people want to get better pricing. If you want to borrow my money, I want to get a better pricing because you're deteriorating my buying power, as well as we're not really excited about you all because you got 36 trillion in government debt, throw on top the consumer debt and commercial debt brings you up to about 60 trillion. And at a 5% interest rate, say on average, that's a shit ton of money you got to pay out. And so that's where I see that move up. Economics going to come into play the first 3 to 6 months of this year. It's going to put pressure on the market. It's going to create incredible buying opportunities. And these two companies, Meta and Tesla, long term, they're changing our world. They're changing how we're doing things. Throw in NVIDIA as a fourth. These companies are doing it, but I do see, what they're doing is one silo. What the market is doing is another silo. And I'm looking at the silo going, okay, how do I get a better price on this? Throw in high yield debt. And because of the leverage of high yield debt and the slingshot I got back in 2009 to 2012, I see that opportunity again. So that's how I see it. So I'm
Yes.
patiently waiting, sitting on my hands. And so
I think that's a good point because even if you're investing, you don't have to you can go for a better price point. You don't have to jump in today or do anything because I'm seeing weakness on the technical sides, even on what we're talking about. You talked about Meta and Tesla and weakness. I've seen weakness in Berkshire and in the mags and of course Bitcoin. So, you know, uh, there'll be opportunities, I think, like Trent said, coming up to get a better price on any of these coming forward. So thanks, Trent. Does anyone
yeah.
any other questions or who wants to go next? Anyone have anything else? Hopefully it's more than me and Trent. David, come on. What are you looking at?
Well, if I'm going to talk about my number one stock for 2025, I would say it's Iris Energy.
Is that IRUN?
IREN.
IREN. Okay, let's take a look. All right. And why do you like IREN?
They have bought a ton of property. They have all with natural resources. They are using wind, solar and natural gas to power up growing data centers. So they are not only do they have the land and the power, but they're building data centers very quickly. And after watching Kevin O'Leary's presentation on his building the largest data center in the world in Canada, because what I found out from him was the biggest deterrent to the data centers has been getting licenses to be able to proceed. And with Trump taking over, these licenses are going to be available. So I see these smaller companies actually, they've been just licking their chops waiting to get ramped up. And I look at this one here as a huge upside on the data center, along with the fact that they've been a Bitcoin miner for a long time. So the combination of Bitcoin going up because of the Trump presidency and the increase in the production of the data centers, I see this one with only, the number was 78 million shares of stock out there. I've looked at several stocks, so I might have got that number confused, but they don't have that much stock out there, so which is going to cause a lot of movement in the price. So I just look at this one with huge potential. I'm looking for at least 100% move this year in Iris Energy.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yep.
Okay. Anyone got a question on that for David? David, do you have anything else? I know you're. Go ahead.
Where did they buy land? I know they're an Australian-based company. They've got a location in Texas.
Right.
which is their U.S. exposure, and then I think three others, maybe one in Switzerland or something like that, and then somewhere
They've
else.
got several up in Canada.
Okay.
And a lot of these data centers, that's what O'Leary's doing his up in Canada. And apparently I don't know how the governments work, but there's a lady that's in charge over there. I don't know what her position is. But she called Kevin O'Leary and said, "Would you build your data center? Are you interested?" He said, "Absolutely." She says, "I've got 1 trillion gallons of natural gas for you to use to power the data center." He said, "I'm there." So there's a huge resource of natural gas in Canada that hasn't been used. It hasn't been mined.
Yeah.
So they've got 2 or 3 places up there. So
Okay.
I suspect we're going to see a lot of the data center energy and a lot of talk for the next 3 to 4 months coming out of Canada. And then once,
Well, and they just recently had a what's his name? Their prime minister, I think is how he's referred to, is he resigned.
right.
Yeah.
So maybe
So
there are some changes there as well.
yeah, I think you got two big factors. You've got the Trudeau is resigning, and you got Biden leaving. And between those two, the deregulation that's going to come about because of that is going to open up all this activity. So I think when we're looking at these stocks that we're really excited about, think about what stocks have been held back because of deregulation. So
Sure.
if there's too many rules, they haven't been able to expand, a lot of that's going to get out of the way. And so I think that there's going to be some real growth opportunities on some of these stocks.
Cool. You have anything else?
Well, my second favorite is, as you guys all know, is CrowdStrike. I think cybersecurity will always be a top priority. I think this stock got absolutely demolished when they screwed up their update. And it's come up from 220 now up to 350, and I think this is a $500 stock.
Nice.
Do you own it now?
Having a
Oh yeah, it's my second largest holding.
Okay. It's kind of, this is the monthly chart, which is more of an investment chart, but see, it's kind of gone sideways for a while here, just like everything else. We'll see what happens. So would you enter a position at this point? It's seeing that you think it's going to 500?
Absolutely.
Any questions on that one, guys? All right, you got a
I
third one?
Well, what's the time frame? Crowd, I know, like I was there in and out, and last time when they got issues, I think there's a buying opportunity. So, and what's the timeline like reaching 500? I'm just wondering. I know it's a good stock for sure in security, like IT security. So
Mark, I would say my third one that I think everybody should have for a solid stock to have in your market, you need to have Broadcom. AVGO. They're sort of like this year's NVIDIA. Large cap, huge growth, they're just growing like a weed.
I like this chart, this monthly chart.
hey Dan, do you have a minute? I'm asking a quick question on CrowdStrike. Like, how soon do you think is 1 year the price target you're looking for? Like the 500.
Did you get that, David?
Yeah. If I'm looking at CrowdStrike on a price target, I think you're hitting 420 this year.
Okay. Yeah, I know like Kerry's expected like by 2027 something or 28 January it's like hitting 1,000 something, like based on his algorithms, whatever it is. So yeah. Thanks,
All
Dan.
right. Thanks, David.
Yep.
David, sorry.
Scott, you got anything you're looking at?
You're on. You need to unmute
You're
yourself.
on mute. You're on mute. Scott, you're on mute. There you
Okay.
go.
I've got my long-term portfolio set up pretty much for the year. The way I took the assignment, I'll call it, is to find some stocks that I really want to get into for the year 2025 that I have some hope and conviction in that I would buy into them, and because I have that faith that it'll bring me um, the same hope and conviction that I have for my long term, that there'll be a nice play. And I came up with PayPal as one of them. From what I can tell, with the limited amount of research abilities that I have at my disposal, is that PayPal looks pretty good, pretty strong in both the short, medium, and long term of the stock. And it just looks solid, except there.
This is a monthly chart going back to around 2022. So you can see price action has been really kind of sideways. But
Yeah,
at some point, does it break out?
yeah.
So
Well, this is progress for the future, is
right.
what I was reading about. Um, I was reading an article by Stephen Kress. Remember him?
Stephen Krass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know? Well, who is he?
I'm sorry.
All right, who is Stephen Krass? I'm not really. Doesn't ring a bell right now.
Okay. He's did an article with Kerry, or did an interview with Kerry a while back with the
Okay.
Seeking Alpha, maybe 3 years ago, two
Oh,
years.
okay.
Okay. But anyway, so I was reading that article, and he was talking about the future of PayPal in 2025 and where he sees it going and why he sees it going there. And that was one of his companies that he picked as having a bright future as opposed to 2024.
So is he predicting some type of technology or something that's going to change in the pay industry?
I'm 71 years old. I'm probably the oldest one in the group. I'm
Oh,
claiming memory loss.
I, you
that's fine.
know,
That's fine.
I honestly, I think, one of the big player things that'll become more and more part of our system is stable coins. And PayPal would be a prime company to utilize stable coins. And what stable coins are is a blockchain, dollar for dollar,
Digital.
crypto or token. And what you can do with it is, when it comes to corporations and people transferring money, typically you would use like your bank, and the 3 days later it would transfer over. And the risk people have really had a problem with stable coins is that it's not a dollar for dollar. Well, a lot of that's been weeded out, and I think it's USD something is the coin that's the most favorable. But if Mark is in, Nebraska, and let's say I'm in Singapore, and I want to, I buy a product from him and I want to move $1 million, um, I could easily load up $1 million on my Coinbase account, buy the stable coin, and boom, transfer it over to Mark. He'll have it probably in 5 minutes. he then transfers it, cashes out, puts it in his bank account. And what this, I think PayPal is probably a candidate, them, um, uh, because they have that system already in place, but utilizing the stablecoin atmosphere. I think, Scott, that honestly could be a great opportunity for PayPal, because what you do is you cut out all the fees and the crap that banking system and the financial industry has milked everybody for. And if I can transfer $1 million for a fraction of a penny, you know, and I can get it to mark in a heartbeat, why wouldn't I do it? So I do see, and PayPal could be a major player in that. So that's a
That's a
good
really
idea.
that's a really good point. Yeah.
Well, truthfully, that wasn't mentioned in the article by the author, but yeah, that could be it. It was
We'll just
nothing
go
but,
with it.
huh?
It's a good idea. Why not? Let's just go
Yeah,
with it. Yeah,
yeah.
we'll just
And
make a
then
phone call to PayPal here in a minute. Say this is what you need to do.
There you go.
And then there
Scott
was
says,
another one called OPFI, OPFI, that helps people that have poor financial health. Um, we all know what that means, I think. And that was, he gave it, it has a strong buy on it right now, but in the long term, probably towards the second half of the year, it's the way I took it, that would be a good company to have in 2025.
cool.
That's a nice monthly chart as far as the trend there.
But
And it's
So you,
exceeded now it's exceeded the S&P too for the first time, well, since back in here. So interesting. OPFI.
cool.
I like that. That had a strong buy with it.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's only a $9 stock, penny stock, I guess you'd call it.
It's a little bit better than penny stock, but now it's the volume is good. Um, so yeah.
And then the other
Hey,
one, huh?
go ahead. Next one.
The other one was Urban Outfitters, URBN,
Okay.
Urban.
My kids would agree with that.
That's a nice chart too.
That has
So what do you like about Urban Outfitters?
well, it had an interesting a subscription model for women's clothing, which I thought was interesting. Women apparel, disposable women apparel. That's gaining attraction. I've read
Really?
about it a couple different places too, on a monthly
So when you say
basis.
disposable, is it like you wear it once and you throw it away?
Yeah,
Really?
or give it away.
Huh.
Wow.
They have like, I know my daughter, my oldest daughter, she rents a lot of stuff on, I think it's called Runway or something like that. And it's women's clothing, high-end stuff, and you go online, you look it up, you decide on what you want to rent. You get, if it's a $500 or $1,000 jacket, you rent it. They ship it to you with the whole case, the whole bit. You wear it, and then you package it up and ship it back. And it's like a subscription service. I wouldn't, it's probably similar to what you're talking about with Urban Outfitters. It makes total sense, especially in this, this got to have it now affordability environment, especially for those under, say, 35, 40 years old. Um, I see some of the outfits my daughter wears. I'm like, how you must be killing it. You must be making a shit ton of money, right? She goes, it's a rental. I'm like, damn, really? I'm like, do they have guys' clothes?
Yeah.
You know? She goes, guys don't rent clothes, Dad. So I could definitely see how Urban Outfitters would be going into a market like that. Plus, they're associated with a handful of other companies. I can't think of them off the top of my head. Um, Banana Republic, maybe, or a couple other clothing companies. I don't remember what the name, but it's a bigger conglomerate of companies. It's very cool.
They have
Nice.
they do wholesale and catalogs and retail and a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So it looked
Cool.
promising for the year.
Well, thanks, Scott. Those are those are really diverse. I mean, we've got Berkshire to Bitcoin to Tesla to it's a high yield to Broadcom and CrowdStrike and a data center builder and PayPal and Urban Outfitters. So that's pretty cool. All right, who's next? Or do I have to call on you? How about Mike? Mike, you there? All right.
Come on.
Come on, Mike. How about Esther?
Yeah,
Esther, as
sorry
always,
about
has.
that. I was
Oh, there's Mike. All right, Mike.
busy. I haven't decided on anything yet.
Okay.
But I'm very bearish. I'm extremely bearish at this point.
I'm not
California
far.
and all these fires, you don't know what's gonna happen. I think we're gonna run into a debt crisis. So
Yeah.
I'm very cautious.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm looking at GOEX, which is gold miners and explorers. I'm looking more
GOEX.
George Oscar Edward X-ray.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm looking at
Okay.
that. That's as a hedge. Since the first, I've been playing the VIX and short-term trading on that.
Okay.
Other than that, I really don't have anything that I really feel comfortable about.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm just trying to. This was kind of brought up by Paul. He wanted to try this, and I thought it was good. Just long term, when you think about long term, like my picks at least, I have good cost bases in in Berkshire and in Bitcoin right now. So, if I don't add any more, I'm still doing well unless we have a total uh, breakdown of everything. And then I don't know that anything's really safe. But I share your concern and your thoughts on the economy and the charts that I'm seeing, at least, Mike.
Yeah, I'm sticking with some of the gas suppliers and the mid markets there. Like TGP, I think it is off the top of my head. I could be wrong. Give me a second and I'll double it. But also, what was the other one? That's a master limited partnership. I bought some silver recently. Silver should be demand whether the economy shits. People are gonna want it, or if technology continues to go because that's a main product that goes onto the boards. So there'll be a demand for that. Excuse me, hopefully.
So
What was the other one?
SLV, is that the way you would play silver?
Say it again, Trent.
SLV, is that how you would play the silver play?
No, I'm doing bear with me.
Yep.
SIVR, which is a physical silver trust. It's Aberdeen.
Okay.
And I've been sitting on gold since 2007 in SGOL, which is another Aberdeen physical gold trust.
STOL.
No, Sam George Oscar Larry Escol.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm sick. You could.
Yeah, I am
All right.
too. I am too. I understand.
But the mid market, I got a TRGP, Tom, Robert, George, Patrick. And that one's, I've been sitting on that for like 9 months and it's doing really well.
Cool. So oh yeah, okay, that's an energy play, right?
Yeah, it's mid-market. It's transportation of oil and
Right.
gas and stuff.
Pipelines and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, one way or
So
another,
you have some stuff in there.
yeah, but are they considered long-term?
Well, you say you've had them for a while, some of them at least.
Yeah, the mid-markets, I've been sitting on for a couple months. But like the gold and silver, I've been in and out of silver. Excuse me. And gold I've been sitting on since before the financial crisis. That was one of my protectors during the financial crisis.
Your hedge.
Yeah, I kind of smelled the problems coming with Lehman Brothers and their hedge funds. And
Right.
I got
Yeah.
really scared and I shorted the S&P and shorted the Dow and bought gold and lost my job.
Nice.
They said I was crazy.
Really?
That
2
worked
months
out.
later, that was up 40% and they were down 30%.
Well,
7 months later, I was up 140% and they were down 80. So I laughed. Thank you, AMF, AMF.
Are you sure your name's not? Is your last name Burry by chance?
No,
I thought he was crazy too.
yeah. You know what? I'm a contrarian at heart.
I'm semi
I
that
don't
way.
like staying on the beaten path. You get in
Yeah.
trouble when you're on the beaten path. I like going against it. And
You know, Jason Shapiro?
name sounds familiar.
He's a he's got a look him up.
He's a big
He's very
contrarian,
much a
isn't
Jason Shapiro.
he? Yeah, he's a contrarian, right?
Very much. He trades based on how crowded a
Yeah,
position is. How like
yeah. I know the guy. I know the guy. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I like
very
that
consistent.
thinking. You know,
Yeah,
it's like the old saying. If you're on easy street, you better watch out. Something's gonna
yeah,
knock you off.
yeah. It's
You
true.
know. So one way or
Cool.
another, like a lot of my long positions in your dad's portfolio, I covered them with trailing stops. Oh, yesterday actually, and I'd say 60% of them kicked off today.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Going to cash, going safe. And like I said, I'm playing the VIX. I'm sitting on a long VIX call option. I'm waiting for the thing to spike. And
Yeah.
there's too much uncertainty out there. You have a new president coming in. They're trying to submarine him at every chance they get. You got California blowing up. I just don't feel comfortable in sitting and anything that's, speculative of nature per se.
Yep.
Yeah.
I get it.
But I'm just not comfortable.
Nothing wrong with that. I feel what you're saying. You know, I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying the same thing. You know.
Well, that's something that everybody should consider with your long-term portfolios is to cover your ass with some trailing stop orders. Figuring out how much you can lose and put a stop on it. So you go to the bathroom and you come back after taking a dump and the stock hangs on you. Wednesday, I got hammered on one. I walked away and that's what happened. I was going to
Yeah.
put the stop in and I forgot. Got screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red flags all over the place. So going
Yeah, I
forward,
agree.
you
Well, I
know,
mean, I talked a little bit about it, with Berkshire Hathaway, and
yeah,
you see Buffett put that much money in cash,
you
and
gotta wonder.
sell out of Apple,
Yeah.
something's going on.
Yeah.
I another one that I've been sitting on for a little while. It's a CTA, Charlie Tom Alpha. It's a managed future across gold, silver, oil, gas, agriculture, any kind of futures. So you're getting into a whole nother asset class there and protect yourself. And that's steady and it gives you like an 8% yield.
Yep.
So,
It just as a disclaimer, read up on funds like this. often used as a way to sort of take the volatility out of your portfolio. But yeah, I mean, I could definitely see how something like this would work, Mike.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
I'm looking
but
at another one, which is where the hell is it? I've got so many papers I've been spending the past week just going through, and I'm kind of narrowing it down. This one looks interesting as a hedge. David, Wash, Sam, Harry.
huh,
That one's a little bit more aggressive on the downside, as we might say.
yeah,
This is a short ETF.
Kind of a short, yeah.
Yeah.
It's active managed, and they go short on a lot of things based upon certain criteria.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Cool.
for not having anything for us, Mike, you win the prize for having the most for us.
I the lists I make, and I keep going back and try to narrowing and narrowing and narrowing, and as the world turns and things get a little bit more crazier and crazier, it makes you think that you got to be cautious.
Oh no, I agree. Risk management should be on everyone's top priority right now, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks, Mike.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
And no
All
worries.
right. Who's next? Do we have any questions or anything? Chet?
Well, maybe I can tell what I bought.
Yeah, Art, let's go ahead with you. What do you got?
I have, other than Kerry's stuff, of course, I have a little bit of Bitcoin and I love to double it, but I think I'm too late. So I'm waiting. Hopefully, I don't know if ever gonna come down.
Well, it's
So
come down.
I
It's
thought that if I buy MicroStrategy for the same money I have wanna put it for that, to keep it for 5, 6 months, because I think MicroStrategy gonna go up, but then may suddenly come down. So to sell it at that time, so my money is sitting and making money, waiting that hopefully at that time also Bitcoin to come down and go and buy Bitcoin. That's one thing I did.
There's a MicroStrategy on a on a monthly chart. You can see. Again, it'll be probably 1.75 or 2 times leverage of what Bitcoin does. So, it's volatile. And it's a direct Bitcoin play, MicroStrategy. So, I mean, what your thought process is on MicroStrategy, and I own MicroStrategy too, is that if you believe the price of Bitcoin is going to go up, it's at 94 or 5 last time I looked today, thousand. And let's say it goes up at the end of the year to 250,000, then you could expect probably MicroStrategy to be moving up, in more of a 1.75 to 2 times what Bitcoin does. So, and on the opposite side, if it went down, it's going to do the same thing. So it's going to be volatile. So again, volatility is not a bad thing, unless it's going down, then it is. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with putting a little into that if you want to get into the Bitcoin world. Again, you could also go. This is IBIT, which is the Bitcoin Trust ETF that BlackRock has. Okay, so that's another way if you wanted to put, a percent or two or whatever you're comfortable with in your IRAs, you can go this route. Okay, it's only been around less than a year, but it's one of the most successful. And then we'll just go take a look, Art, and see where Bitcoin is right now, since we brought it up. Okay, we're sitting at 94.8. So, we went through the summer kind of sideways here, and then we had the election month, November, and December and in January, been kind of sideways. We've had some spikes of it. Bitcoin's that way. Bitcoin is a seasonal play. So, it has winter, summer, spring, and fall in it. And with all this demand coming up, and supply being short, we'll see what happens. It's, only get into it you might afford to lose, and that's almost true in anything right now. So, uh, always, like Mike says, have your stops in if you want to protect yourself for sure. What else you got,
Yeah,
Art?
but
Anything? Oh, go
Yes,
ahead.
I also bought what is the name? Mara
Mara. Okay.
M
Holding.
Yep.
MARA.
That's a minor. Yep.
MARA. Yes.
Yeah. Let's take a look at this one.
I heard that in addition to, I guess, Bitcoin, they want to get into the power business.
Yeah.
Again, a bit longer run thinking, but apparently hasn't changed much, huh?
It's there's kind of the 5-year chart on the monthly. It's been kind of just slide. I know Mara is also adding Bitcoin to their treasury, their corporate treasury too. So it's kind of following along with MicroStrategy.
But also, I heard that they want to get into energy for um, other things.
Like
Like they
data
want
center energy.
trying to sell energy. That was
Do
the
you know
plan.
anything about that, Trent? Is Mara getting involved in that?
Um, I don't. I know. I saw something just recently that Mara showed up on. I don't know what I was looking at, but it was more in a positive light. I think all these crypto mining companies all see the evolution of their business to some level of, if it's data center like Iris Energy is, or if it's energy related in some way. I think these guys are recognizing that blockchain took them so far, the crypto run took them so far. Now let's evolve our business. Um, I actually met a representative years ago when I was in Miami at that Bitcoin conference, and actually asked them for a job, but they weren't hiring. So, but yeah, I think they're one of those players in that sector. So yeah, why not?
And I
Could
think,
you know,
I
it
think they're looking
could be a nice
for,
thing.
as the mining, you know, half life keeps coming down. These
Yeah,
miners are looking, like you said, for other opportunities within energy and crypto. So,
yeah. And
so that
honestly, a lot of them are set up. That was something I learned. I've actually thought about going to the Bitcoin conference for this year. Um,
in
But
Vegas.
when I went to it, what I saw was there was a lot of these companies, smaller companies, setting up shop in states like Wyoming and South Dakota and North Dakota, and where they could strike a deal to use the burn off that the oil industry at the time was burning off natural gas. Now that's changed a lot because the oil industry's seen the opportunities in it. But I think more and more you're going to see companies who have that infrastructure already in place just convert their centers to more data related, and then couple that with mining, and I think it's a future opportunity for them. So Mara could be
Yep.
definitely one of those companies.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Finally,
Cool.
I got Arista, ANET,
AMET.
AN like Nancy,
Oh,
AN.
yeah. ANET. Okay. Let's take a look.
Yeah, someone said that it's gonna be new Nvidia, but I don't know if it's true or not.
Okay.
All right. That's got a nice monthly chart.
Yeah.
That goes all the way
Shows
back
up.
when it started rising back here in 2021. Kind of went sideways and then really kind of took off here in 2023. Arista
Maybe
Networks.
too late to buy, but I bought it a month ago. So
Well, the trend is your friend here, or and this is a monthly chart, which I would use monthly or weekly if I was doing an investment. So um, everything's looking. You got the 50, the 20, the the 9 month moving averages moving up, and your oscillators on the monthly are looking good. So,
Yeah.
you have support down here on the 9 month, and that's at 95.18. So you have a ways to come down to support. And you've done that before. Look at, I mean, when you're watching it here, 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 here. So it's a nice looking chart for a long-term chart.
If you go back and look, at a year ago, their earnings continuously beat quarter after quarter. Yeah, by
35,
15,
39, 43,
8, yeah,
48, 50,
yeah,
52,
continuously
50.
beating. So they're making money. I mean, their
Yeah,
earnings
and
are
it's
growing, so that's
growing.
positive.
Yeah, that's a good
Nice.
catch on that one. That's a good catch on that one. Yeah, because here was 19. This was in 22, and then the next earning was 21, and this is where it's flat: 24, 28, 34. So we got a little bit of a bump, and we're still bumping up: 35, 39, 43, 48, 50. Yeah, nice. Nice one, Art.
Yeah, I got that from promotional that one of these YouTube guys, Chacon or something, the name, older guy.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he was just revealing. I listened 1 hour of his promotion, and that was the only thing that he said. And I
Oh,
let me
he's
try.
the guy that comes on. He comes on and has that commercial that talks about everyone who's selling NVIDIA.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
that's
okay,
the
I've
one.
seen
That's the
that.
one. So I got this from him, and I hope he's right. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
All right, so we got a little time left. Does anyone else have anything? Esther, you always have something. Are you still around? Esther, there she is. Hi, Esther.
You always seem to call on me.
Well, because
And I like to
you're
fall back in silence.
you're not very shy, Esther. So we like
I
what you
am.
have
I'm
to do.
very shy, in a very public setting, but if we're in small groups, I'm not shy at all.
All right. Well, this is a small group, so you're doing. What are you thinking about maybe longer term this year, Esther?
Well, you know what? If I agree with Trent on Tesla, so I really like Tesla, but if you're asking me my top three
Yep.
into 2025,
Yep.
these are, I'm going to pick three stocks that I'm already in, and
Okay, that's fine.
I'm already, I'm already profitable, but I'm still going to hold.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's there are stocks now. Just to give some background, I think differently than this group, right? So, and I just wanted to keep that preface out there because I do like early stage stocks. And I come from California and Silicon Valley, and I'm a tech recruiter. So a lot of the stock picks that I'm looking at are in the tech sector.
Okay.
So with that being said, I'm in Reddit. I don't know if people have heard of Reddit,
I
but
have.
Reddit
So why you?
I use on a daily basis. It's a media forum that anyone can jump into and just share their thoughts. They IPO'd early on this year, and they've done very well, and I'm still gonna hold.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull this up.
RDDT is a ticker.
Yep, got it. So this is a weekly chart. Okay, it goes back 5 years. So it's had a nice run up. It's been kind of like the last 5 or 6 weeks, kind of just been kind of sideways a little bit, but
Correct. Yeah.
okay.
I still, the market is pulling back, and the way this was taking off early on in this year, I expected a pullback. So, but I tell people go for the long term for this one.
Yep. And you use it, so you're a satisfied customer basically.
Yep, I am. So I like to jump into stocks that I actually use.
Yeah.
Another one is Now I found this stock because I'm on Reddit and there's a group on there called Wall Street Bets. And these
Yep.
guys, band together and they move the market, and they really do. However, there are smart people in some of those groups that do a lot of the research. So, there would be like a Kerry in a few of those groups that are actually smart and they're making wise decisions. So with that being said, I found this stock within this group and I jumped in early, and I am profitable. Rocket Lab, RKLB, they put satellites into space, and
Yep.
they have secured a contract with NASA. So potentially, I think this will start to move further into 2025.
Had a nice run up, especially here in November. Went from 1090 to 2728 in November. It's a nice pop. Let's see, earnings were negative 10 cents per share, and went up a little from -8. So must be that NASA contract right here, huh?
Correct.
Okay. All right, RKLB. One more.
One more.
Yep.
Well, can I pick a Kerry stock, because I'm
Yes,
very
you can
bullish
you can pick whatever stock you want, Esther.
I'm very bullish on Navitas and VTS. And
Okay.
that's a lot of my reasoning is they're doing work with NVIDIA, and they're going to be part of their new chip.
Been kind of sideways for a while. Had a little bit of a pop on the monthly. Just looks like it's waiting in consolidation for something to happen.
You know what? It's highly speculative. It's
Yeah.
very early on, and I'm willing to take that risk.
Well, that's what long-term investing is about, longer term risk. Cool. Anything else to say on any of these three? What's your favorite of all of them? Reddit, Rocket Lab, or it must be this one?
I don't know. Oh, I don't have a favorite. Whichever one makes me the most money in the long term will be my favorite.
All right. Well, at the end of next year, we'll figure that out. We'll know which one. Cool. Thanks, Esther. I really appreciate you sharing.
No problem.
Anyone else while we still have a little bit of time? Anyone?
You want to get into some flyers?
Well, let's see if we get.
Send
Let's see if any-
Uh, yeah, I
let's see-
can share something
Oh,
if,
here we
if
go. Here we go.
nobody.
Let's go ahead.
Yeah,
Sharina.
I'm in another meeting, but yeah. So yeah, I know I have limited knowledge. Of course, I'm not like as you guys have for a long time, but I just like barely like 10 years in the industry, and that too not much actively. I'm just long-term investor.
Right.
With my limited knowledge I have in stock market. Yeah, the first thing I am looking for is it's long due Microsoft. Like, I mean, so it got everything, but I don't know, it didn't run as other Magnificent Seven stocks are running. Like, so it just like holding there like last 1.5 2 years, like, it just like piling up from 330 to 430. So if you look at it, so that's what I want to run it this year with all the AI. They have all the tools and everything,
So
the cloud.
you said Microsoft?
Yeah, Microsoft.
Okay, here we go right here.
Yeah, so I'm trying to
Yep.
build my position. I have very little, but I'm trying to build my position there and see what you
Okay.
think, Mark, on that one from the
I mean,
technicals.
Microsoft has been a solid position for long term. It's part of the Mag 7. It's hit, even you can even see here on a monthly chart, it's hit its resistance level for a lot of months, and
Mhm.
that's what Trent and I talk about, how long can the Mag 7 continue to pull this market up and being like the S&P and the Qs, and at what point, if one or two or several stumble either on earnings and not even like a bad earnings report, but just miss, and I think Trent, you talked yesterday by like a penny, what
Mhm.
would that do to the psyche, and will that will that be enough to trip one of these up? And then does that start a stair step down? So what do you think, Trent?
You know, I remember I was thinking about this the other day about Microsoft. I remember after the dot-com blow up, it was like a $20-$30 stock. And if you're a long-term investor in a company that is really significant in the development of the next, say, 3 to 10 years, as Microsoft has been, you know, that at $30, what is that today?
Four,
589, or what is that the
430,
number?
420,
430 something.
422.
Yeah, I mean, you've made a ton of money. Um,
Mhm.
they're one of those companies that I do see as they've run the gamut when it comes to my computer software and the utilities that I use. My question, and they're moving to, you know, contributing or investing into Chat OpenAI and ChatGPT. All of a sudden, there's massive competition that is now changing to the game, and I gotta believe Microsoft's smart enough to know we've got to evolve very quickly, and they're doing so. It's a question of how is that going to be executed and implemented. But no, I think, you know, there's a lot of you know, forward thinking people at that company. It's a matter of you know, just a matter of time and seeing where it plays out. I you know, look in listening to a couple of the explanations of Nvidia's play into the new products they're doing, they're actually doing something similar to what Microsoft did with Internet Explorer, and that was everybody got it when you upgraded your it became the default browser. Nvidia is doing something similar in that if you want to play, you know, like their gaming system they're introducing, if you want to play this game, you can only play it on their product. You know, you
Mhm.
can't play it elsewhere. And I think that, you know, that locks in market share. And I guess my question is with Microsoft and really any of these companies, how are you going to lock in that customer going forward? You've been doing it for years. How are you going to do it even as we're progressing at this light speed we're moving right now? So I wouldn't count Microsoft out at any point. Absolutely. So, but you know, my question is like I look at Apple and I go, I mean, I don't need a new cell phone. I don't, you
Yeah.
know, I don't, you know, those kind of things to me is that those are things that are challenging the old, you know, the OGs of the tech industry is are they evolving? And in Apple, for instance, I don't see how they're evolving at this point, and that would be a question. Whereas I see Microsoft, they understand AI is the big deal right now, and you gotta be a player. So
About Microsoft, I want to let you all know that with my experience, of course, in universities, I have seen that they are very big in universities and push their products. They have long range contracts and they enlarge the contracts every year, year after year. I just got an email in my university that they made the Azure open to anyone, and I am talking academic communities, meaning students, faculty, staff. They can openly without payment. And also they open some part of it with small payments, like $20 or something. So I think they are increasing their market. They are heavily working on it. So I was thinking of maybe I should buy some. I don't have Microsoft, but I am thinking I don't know if it is right time now or to wait to come down or something. But from this chart, it looks to me it's not. It's okay to buy. I don't know.
To
Maybe.
me,
Yeah.
to me, on a technical look, if I was going to invest in Microsoft, I think, you know, we are in consolidation. We're up against this uh, monthly resistance level, and we're seeing converging Bollinger Bands. I mean, we still, you know, the 9 month, and this is a 9 month line instead of a 9 day line, is
Mhm.
flattened and moving sideways with resistance. And we're just stuck kind of between this for several months. And so I don't know, you know, I look at the oscillators down here and they're kind of dipping down a little bit. So for me personally, my risk tolerance that would tell me, not that it can't pop and something can't pop it, but something's going to have to pop this to make it go. And here's our last earnings were 330 a share. Before that was 295, so it went up on that one. 294 on that one. 293. So we're seeing 299. So around $2 to $3 in earnings. This one popped up pretty good on this earnings, but it didn't. They must have had some forward non-guidance or something, because it went to 330 and the prior one was 295, and we saw in the month it ended down. So when you do longer term investments and things, you want to do a little more research, and especially in the fundamentals. And that would be one thing I'd go look at, is that earnings report, and see if they're guiding down in the future.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, this is very good stock. I mean, take everything like they're doing cloud, Azure. I know everything is good from the perspective, but yeah, it's long due. I don't know. It's just kind of going sideways. I see, like as you said, last 1.5 year. But let's see. I mean, I'm hoping for this year.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's no hurry. You have an opportunity, and it's not like it's a bad company. That's for sure. I mean, you can see it's been performing better than the S&P, which is this yellow line, for a long time. Okay, so, but I'm a little worried about the sideways motion and which way it's going to head. But again, the future of, and Trent, jump in here, or anyone, the future of these Mag 7s really is continuing building up and advancing of their earnings, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think, I think there's a couple things. One, you got to grow your profit margins. You got to continuously grow your revenue quarter over quarter, because that's how Wall Street looks at it. And I think this move we've seen in the tech AI, specifically AI revolution we've seen in the last, say, 2 years, has been like vertical. It's a total hockey stick. And I do think that you have to anticipate some exhaustion at this top where we're at now, and you should anticipate a pullback, but that pullback should be seen as an opportunity. It's a question of how far of a pullback and preservation of capital. So overall, I think everybody on this call and anybody who watches this video should anticipate that we should see a pullback. I mean, you look at that chart right there. That's just vertical. The opportunity is, 50% of that retracement, and that's how, I mean, that's the difference between what this company is doing versus what the stock market is thinking. They're two different worlds. And that's where I look at, I wish I bought Microsoft at $35. I wish I held, I think everybody could look at that. I look at companies that are in the Mag 7 for the most part as decade companies. These are companies that are evolving. NVIDIA showed to me this past week that they're thinking way ahead. They know they're going to run out of selling GPUs to, Elon and X and what they're doing, and Amazon's going to start developing their own. They know that. Yeah. Now they're looking at you and me going, let's create affordable product that can do AI stuff. Let's look at the academic world from research, but also the individual world, and let's address that market. And I think they're doing it. And that's where I think you have to look at these Mag 7 companies and go, how are they thinking? Broadcom, prime example, they are becoming the manufacturer for the Amazons of the world. So yeah, I think there's a ways to go with a lot of these guys. But I do think it's going to be a roller coaster. And if you just think it's going to go up, let me introduce you to my friend who was worth 100 million in real estate in 2006 and filed bankruptcy in 2009. So yeah, he was under the belief real estate would never go down. Luckily he's recovered a little bit, but I think that's how you got to play these things.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know. I know, like, yeah, you think that these never go down. Yeah, that's always, I think, yeah, wrong assumption. It's always,
Yeah.
it's not a straight line. It's always, yeah, it's goes ups and down. Yeah,
It's
coming to,
euphoria.
yeah, it's always, yeah, euphoria, like
Yeah.
an FOMO, fear of missing out, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
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 So,
I mean, I look at, I look at these mags just even on a monthly chart, which is the longer term. But, we have build up, build up, build up, and then stop. Okay. It's
mhm,
right here on this resistance. And this is a monthly chart. I mean, it's popped up to the upper Bollinger and it's just playing off this 9 month. And I think, here's the 200 month. So it on Microsoft on my program just started calculating that. But, something's going to happen because it's just squeezed between the resistance and this 9 month line. And we'll see what happens if it pops up or down or continues consolidating sideways. So, yeah, it's I'd have a much better feel if we were back here and I just saw this go above the 9 month. Okay.
mhm,
And to say get in, but here again, here you had some consolidation here, and we had consolidation back here, which is why I drew these two lines here because we had consolidation, consolidation. So that doesn't mean that we can't go up. It's just consolidated and trying to figure out what to do. Okay,
mhm, mhm.
but I don't see it squeezing. From this point, squeezing against its 9 month moving average, and then again hitting here, resistance, boom, 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 hit, got up a little above, below, below, right at, below, right at. It just seems to it's having some trouble uh, getting any more momentum on the upside at this point.
Okay. Yeah,
That's what
cool.
I think.
Yeah. So next, moving on, the second one, I would say Micron. Uh,
Micron, yeah,
yeah.
MU.
So MU,
Okay.
I know I
Right.
see that in Jensen, like, yeah, the CES tech. He said, like, I mean, of course, everybody knows. Even Kerry mentions that. So they do memory, right? Memory for all these data centers and everything. So definitely with the same momentum. So I'm expecting maybe if not this year, maybe early next year and by end of next year. So
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, I think one of the good stocks to own. I am also trying to build something on it.
It's picking up, at least on monthly, it's picking up some momentum on the RSI. Yeah, I'd watch a little bit for the stochastic to cross over and, get back on the confirmation side on the MACD on a monthly to see where we're headed. But yeah, it's popped up. Let's see what earnings are. 30 cents there, 79 cents there,
Mm-hmm.
$1.67. So the earnings are going up
Yeah.
on
Very
Micron.
positive.
Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, the third one I'm going on like crypto, which is like I know a lot of people trying to think they missed the Bitcoin boat.
Yeah.
And I would say if you guys still think that there's one is like Solana, I think. So
Oh,
yeah, that is kind of like people think it's a faster payment to processing or whatever rather than Ethereum, like settlement. So I would say I would think like Solana might run in next year or so. I know
Solana.
it's yeah Solana. It's already ran a lot, like almost 10 times I
You want me to
think.
pull it up?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Trent. Pull it up. You know
Uh,
more about you know more
y-
about those than I do.
yeah,
I just took a
it's
picture. There you
down
go.
to almost $20 from 250 when last bull run, and now again it's
Yeah.
almost came back to
You might
200.
want to put it on the weekly or the monthly just to keep it
Okay.
same as what we've been looking at.
So that's a weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It actually got introduced in June of 21. So sort of see this if you go by the what's the newspaper? The Cup and Handle, William
Yep.
O'Neill.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they've been very in the spotlight for their payment systems, and their infrastructure has been pretty pretty solid. But yeah, you definitely, I'm running a 15 and a 63. you know is there support right there? That could be at 145.64. but yeah, they're evolving from a technology standpoint. I think they're becoming a big player in it. So I like them. I own it. Yeah.
Yeah, people who think like, they want to get into crypto, and if they don't have, I mean, I don't know, Bitcoin is already ran a lot, so this might be the alternative if somebody wants to get into. So
Yeah.
Yep, nice.
Cool. All right. All right.
And anyone
Nice.
else? We're kind of running down time, but we still have time for three more stocks if
Mark?
someone wants.
Mark, on one of his stocks that he was talking about, Micron,
Yeah,
mhm.
when I look at the financial forecast for Micron,
right.
we're looking at in 25 revenue going up 56% is what they're forecasted for.
Wow.
Profits up 1,200%.
What's that based on?
Micron has the potential to be one of our biggest movers of the year. 25 should be a game changer for them if you're
Nice.
into speculative stocks.
Go ahead, Srini.
I'm not saying anything. So, David, you mean like that can run? I mean, if that's the true what they're saying, like whatever the 25 times the earnings. So if that is the true, then it can run. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm seeing a high forecast in the next 12 months at 250.
Wow.
Yeah.
The stock's at 100. So this
That's
one
a
has
move.
potential.
Yeah, that's good to know. I mean, yeah, I know, like it's not that high like Microsoft or like Cloud. It's not in 300, 400. It's just lingering around 90s, 100. So maybe people want to build up on this. It might be a little cheaper compared to other stocks, maybe.
The 23 and 24, their revenue increased, but their earnings didn't. So it never really got the attention it should have. And then this next quarter, they're forecasting a 1,200%. The next year is 1,200. The next quarter goes up 183%. And then the quarter after that, they're expecting a 700% increase on the May 30th, 2025 earnings. So
Makes my head
this
spin.
company is just about ready to explode on profits. So it's a great time to get into it.
Huh. Interesting.
If the forecast.
Very.
Yep. Thanks for that, David.
Yep.
Anything else? Anyone else before we sign off? We're in overtime now, but we could. Yeah. All right, Art.
I missed Trent's gas company that you said. What was the ticker for it, Trent? And why you thought that would be a good one?
Gas?
Yeah, liquid gas or gas, something you said.
Oh. I didn't actually say, but there's a company out of Louisiana called I think it's LQD maybe. Look, what is that? No, that's not it. Oh, what's that company? It was one of Kerry's stocks years ago.
Today you
They
mentioned.
liquefy natural gas. And this couple weeks ago, they made their first big shipment to Europe. Oh
That
my
was just
gosh, what?
LNG, wasn't it? Wasn't it LNG?
Yeah. Is it LNG?
You mentioned another ticker I couldn't jot down, so that's what I was asking.
Oh, was it? Oh, high yield HYG?
Yes.
Yeah,
HYT.
that is high yield debt. Yeah. That's I see as a second half of the year opportunity. Uh, yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ganesh, were you trying to talk there a little bit ago?
I'm very familiar on Indian market, but I'm very new to US market.
Okay.
So the strategy I have built on is I put some amount on Japanese CDR like SMFG and Mitsubishi.
Mitsubishi,
So
yeah.
yeah,
The symbol on that.
You know what the symbol is on that? Mitsubishi
1 minute. It's SMFG.
SM,
That's FG.
SG.
No, FG. F for foreign, G for Germany.
Did you get that, Trent?
SMG.
SMFG. No, SMFG. S for Sydney, M for Melbourne, F for France, G for Germany.
Oh, okay. Samuto Mitsubishi Financial.
Sumitomo. Smith.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this has been growing since say mid 23, and it's not seeing a very much decline. So I use this as a bank account, so that in case if any dip came on US stocks, I can sell this and then invest on it. So that is my strategy.
Okay.
So I just want to hear about the feedback about this Japanese CDR. So can anyone give me a feedback about this Japanese CDR?
It looks like, if I'm reading this right, it operates through the following segments: commercial banking, leasing, securities, and consumer finance. Looks like it's heavily financial, so, and concentrated in Japan, if I'm thinking right. And I guess it's a question of the Japanese economic environment, really. Um, this is a new one. This is pretty cool. I just went to their website. I can't read anything in it, but it's all in Japanese. But yeah, I mean, I'll dig into it. I'll put it on the list for sure.
I also had another one. I'll just share
Okay.
that it's a MUFG, M for Melbourne, U for Urban, F for France, and G for Germany.
Okay, repeat that one more time, please.
It's a MUFG, M for Melbourne,
Okay.
U for Urban, F for France, and G for Germany.
Did you get it?
Okay.
Did you get that, Trent?
Is it also Mitsubishi UFJ Financial?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Are those available on on U.S. exchanges?
I believe
Yeah,
so.
it's available on AD as ADR.
Oh, it's a symbol in that last one, Trent. MU.
Mary, Universal, Frank, George,
Okay.
MUFG.
Well, it's had a nice run up on the monthly till it hit some resistance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an ADS. So
I wonder what the relationship to like the US dollar on a company like this would be.
that I don't
As
know.
we
I don't know much about the Japanese companies.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Well, I'll put it on the list. That's cool. That's something different.
Yeah. And what was the other one that he had?
It is SMFG. Similar
Oh, it's
move.
about the same. It's about the same, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a Google Sheet and I'll embed it into the Discord and the website with all these picks. And we'll put the closing price as of
Today.
today. I should have it up by Sunday. And then so we can track it and talk about each week if we want. As well as I'll see if I can pull together a research reports on every one of these companies and make that available in a PDF that you all can download as well, and we can track this stuff.
All right.
Sound good?
Team Platinum investment portfolio.
There you go. Probably generate like a 300-400% return for the
I
next
hope so.
millennium.
I hope so. Well, everyone, I
Gotta be.
want to really thank you for participating today. It really made it more interesting for
Yeah.
me. I know, and Trent too, to just know what you guys are thinking and what you're looking at. Because a lot of times we just talk about what we're thinking, and sometimes I feel bad. I don't get the opportunity to know what you're thinking about, and this sure helps. And good luck with everybody. And again, it'll be kind of fun to track these and see how we do. You know,
Yeah,
as individuals and as a group.
Well,
I think
what
so.
what Trent has behind him? Are you in the art business, Trent? And also that
I
the question of there is a fund for art. I have heard that that does very good. If I don't know if anyone has knowledge on that fund, but first let us see if Trent is
yeah.
buying or
So
selling these artwork.
no, this is my wife's work.
Wow, it's wonderful. It's very
Yeah,
nice.
this is about, I think it's 6 foot by I don't know the dimensions totally. That's actually we're actually driving that to Houston at the end of the month. She had somebody buy it, so we're delivering it. And then the one behind it is actually mine that I did years ago. But she's an artist. Her website is gingerlee leigh designs.com. She started out doing design for a company making picture frames, and then started doing angels and crosses on wood, and that turned into a wholesale business. She was selling to 400 stores nationwide. She's doing about 800 a year in revenue. And then the pandemic hit. She had 15 employees. Nobody wanted to sit in the same studio together. And it was her opportunity to get out of that side of the business. And this past year, she has hit this new move up in, individual one-off pieces. She still does a little bit of the more gift art, as she calls it, but her business is becoming more and more
Custom.
one of kind original work like that. She's got a diverse palette. She does a bunch of different stuff. She and two other artists are looking to open a store here locally. But yeah, she's really good. I'm the one with the art degree, the graphic design minor in painting. She has a kinesiology degree and was on her way to medical school before I yanked her out of Colorado and moved to Birmingham again to get into this industry. And so we went opposite directions. I went finance and she went art. So it's worked out though. But yeah. But thank you, Art. I appreciate it. I'll let her know that.
Have you looked
Good.
into the that I don't know the ticker, but there is one that for trading arts in the high level arts, multi-million dollar paintings and things. That one.
I haven't. It's an ETF or something?
No, it's like an art sharing kind of thing where you own
Oh,
some parts of an art,
yeah.
you buy it together collectively and you hold it and sell it, that kind of a
Yeah,
deal.
I think Kerry at one point in time was doing something with them or talking with them in some way or another. Yeah, it was like you buy a hypothetically
Picasso.
a Picasso
Yeah.
and you all go in on it and then sell it. I don't know where that company is at anymore, but yeah. So yeah, no, but I think that whole world is also seeing pressure as well as the high-end car market as well. So, but who knows? Maybe this will be, well, she won't. It's like Ginger won't profit if this guy turns around and she, all of a sudden it triples in price or anything. But I think that's,
But
anyways,
it's an original ginger though. So
it is
that'll help
original
her.
Ginger.
Yeah.
There you go. Cool.
I've been down to her art studio. It's very nice and she's very talented.
Also, Trent's painting back there, the red one, looks very, very nice.
That
I used to
well,
have
hold on.
some, art background, and I have
Don't
taken
ruin that one.
picture, of course. Well, that looks very nice. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I did that years ago. It's so big. I haven't stretched it, but yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff. I quit. I haven't really painted since 2016. I don't
Since you
know.
got out of
Just
the institute.
since I got out of, yeah. My therapist said you don't need to paint anymore. They're too scary. Yeah, I got a couple of those.
Oh man.
All right, we
Anyways,
should probably wrap
thank
it
you,
up.
Art. I appreciate the compliment. It's very nice.
Thanks, Art.
Very,
Yep.
very nice. I really
All
enjoyed
right. Well, we got to wrap it up. I think we got another meeting that Trent and I do. And then 3 o'clock, if you guys want to join Kerry's meeting.
Yeah.
See what's on his mind.
Yeah, we need some break before that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So anyway, thank you guys. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate your explanations were awesome, and I can't disagree with what you guys brought up. They're all very interesting. So anyway, Trent will put them on
Yeah.
Thank
a
you.
spreadsheet, and we'll check them out.
Thanks, everyone.
All
Have a
right.
good day.
Thanks,
Sounds
guys.
good.
We'll see
All
you
right.
at 3.
Bye.
All right.
Y'all take care.
Hello. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.